It's a body structure thing. Welcome to the next episode of Body Structure Thing. Our team is devoted to improving the day-to-day life of the individual through preventative and recovery care based on structural improvement of the body. I'm your host, Ron Buford, and with me is my co-host and developer of the SRM Body Structure System and Intelligent Threads product lines, Brian Brzezinski. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
I tell you what, I'm excited for this episode.
I am too.
I'm ready. I'm ready to unleash the beast of IT.
Yeah.
Very excited. So, Intelligent Threads. I'm sure a lot of our listeners, probably 2 or 3 of them, however many are on the podcast at this point, but we're like, okay. So I've heard you hint around this the last couple of episodes, and it's kind of taken a intelligence of its own. Intelligent Threads, so I threw that in there, yeah. Where's our producer at this point? Like, I threw it in a joke there. It was cheesy and it didn't work. But
okay.
Anywho, made me laugh, so that's fine. A lot of the people around, my friends in social group are calling it the magic shirt, right?
Magic shirt,
and hence the name of the podcast and the magic shirt, right?
Magic shirt, yeah.
So, tell me about it. What's going on with Intelligent Threads?
A whole lot. More testing, more connections.
Dude, I'm loving the tests.
More clothes. It's gonna be amazing. I'll tell you a story. I had a lady in from Tanzania, Africa. Awesome lady.
Yeah.
And while I'm working on her, I lay her on the table and I put a shirt on her, and the Intelligent Thread shirt with MYO-E.
Right.
And she says, "Oh, we have this in Africa." And I go, "Okay."
Right.
She goes, "We call it black magic." And I go, no, has nothing to do with black magic at all. And she goes, "But your shirt is magical." And I go, "Okay, I get it, because you don't understand how it works.
Sure.
It's magic. I get it." She goes, "And it's black." Ha 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 ha. And I go, "Okay, I guess you got me. I guess in that
That's good.
terminology.
That's good for sure."
Yeah.
So how did you come up with this? Like, did it just come to you and you're like, hey, I need to do this?
Yes,
or like,
it struck me.
Just lightning struck your brain. Kaboom! Oh, the magic shirt is here. Yeah.
So starting with SRM, when I was working, I knew there had to be a better way to release muscles, and I was tired of releasing all these muscles every day, all the time.
And it hurt.
Yeah, it hurt you.
Yeah.
It hurt me.
Right.
It just wasn't fun. And so I just prayed, and I was like, "Lord, there's got to be a better way to release his muscles." And he spoke to me, and he was like, "I'm going to send you on a journey." But of course, he didn't sound like that. But and he didn't speak to me audibly. It's just, quietly in my spirit. Sure. And I thought a week later, I wonder if I'm still on my journey. Because I was like 20, because I knew everything. We kind of talked about that.
Right. I should find the answer to this in, a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, just give it to me. But I think over the next 15 years, I met people and got understanding and learned stuff and started really diving in and studying. The Lord kept bringing me people to learn from, different ideas, concepts. He was showing me things, just patients that came in. Every patient that comes in my office, I learn something from. I mean, everybody has value and everybody you can learn from. Right. And so I was constantly learning. And then, so after 15 years, I had the aha moment, January of 16. I was like, "Oh, I think I got it all together." And then I played around with it for a little while. The funny part is I try to take at least a week off a year. Mm-hmm. And I figured out, and we went on vacation. And I'm not supposed to think of anything work related on vacation, right? Right. That's all I can think about.
Sure.
But anyways.
What was that aha moment? Like what was that final piece that put it all together?
It was a combination of every different thing that I've learned, and we pieced it together. And the funny part was, he knows everything. God knows everything that's out there. So it's not like it's not really that it took me 15 years to figure it out. It just took me 15 years to listen. Sure. And so that was a big learning moment for me. But then we were able to piece it together, and we started figuring out what the heck do we have,
Right.
and then moving forward from there.
Interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about how it works?
Yeah. So the shirt is basically, the shirt is polyester. This the first one they have. People go, "What's in it?" I go, "Or what's it made out of?" I go, "Polyester." They go, "Wait."
You're like, really?
But it's what's in the shirt, right?
Sure.
So this is technology in the shirt.
And you can put this technology in any type of textile.
So far, we haven't found a textile it doesn't like, which is exciting
Well, that's
because
good.
we'd like to put it in all kinds of stuff because we want to help people. Why would you not want to have shirts or clothing that helps you feel better?
Sure.
And so, I can go in 20 different directions right here.
I know. It's just lay it down, brother.
I know. The I think we're going to eventually we'll put in all kinds of clothing and everything else. But at first, people ask me, what's in it? And I would say that's polyester, or they would say, "What's in it?" I say,
Sure.
"You're in it." Which
And
wasn't.
he's
They didn't
like joking around.
Yeah,
It's like,
really
yeah,
funny.
I get it, bro, but like, really,
Yeah.
like, did you nuke this thing and all of a sudden it's giving me like the Hulk powers,
Right.
Or, you know?
And so what I like to do is I like to hold when people say, "Well, what's in it?" I like to hold my cell phone up and I point to it and I go, "This is a box.
Right.
It's my magic box so I can talk to anybody in the world." And people look at me like, "Yeah, it's a phone." But if I said that 200 years ago,
Shoot, if you'd said that 50 years ago,
yeah,
right?
yeah, people would go, "Yeah, this guy's nuts too. What is
Right.
he talking about? It's a box. Boxes can't do that."
Right.
Well, but it's not the box; it's the technology in the box that makes it work. Well, it's not the shirt; it's the technology in the shirt that makes it work. So I just repurposed an everyday item with a great technology.
Right.
So we were able to put a technology into the shirt, and we infuse it at a quantum mechanic level into the fibers of the shirt. So it's not coming out. We've washed it. The original ones we have, we've washed, I think, over 300 times, and we've ran through the mud and sweated it and went to the ocean in it. I went into the ocean with clothes on, which was hilarious. Went through the airport, went through metal detectors, and
Right.
anything you think of, we've tried to do.
And nothing's deactivated it yet.
Yeah, we put it in a dryer, put it in went through dry cleaning.
Well, I've had mine for a year now, and I've probably tried and washed this thing, gosh, at least twice. I mean, I wear it almost every day, but
I know some people come back and they go, "Can I wash this?" I was like, "You've had that for a long time. You need to wash it. It's
like
very
it's
important."
standing up in the corner of your room.
And then they probably only wear it, when they're not active or whatever, but which is fine. But yes, you can wash them. They're great. You're not going to wash the technology out of it, which is nice. In fact, the first ones we made, so we've been in business over 5 years. The first ones we made, we still test, and when we do, they still work like day one. We can't see any drop off in the performance of the technology at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Okay, so you said something in there, the quantum mechanic level.
Yeah, so
Okay,
all that
like-
means is
Did you work with, Hank Pym and Ant-Man to figure that one out?
Yes, he was my mentor for a long time. That's a great movie, by the way.
But I know, but it's just, from the layperson, which I definitely am, I don't have that level of understanding and technology base. So what's the simplest way for you to break it down and tell people what,
Yeah.
We've already explained kind of what it does,
Right.
but I think the how is really an important piece because a lot of people can take things on faith and all. It's like, yes, all my friends said it works and it works. And
Right.
sure.
Of course.
Right. But how do you take that first step into, I'm going to try this without being in your office or being friends with Ron and all of his buddies that have it? And
Right, of course.
how does that work?
I think what I did is I developed a machine.
Mm-hmm.
The output of the machine is what the MYO-equilibration is. Then I had to figure out how to infuse it into the fabric at a quantum mechanic level.
Right.
And all that means is quantum mechanic level just means at a small point,
Sure.
or a small amount.
Sure.
But if you put it all over the fibers, then it's a bigger amount.
Sure.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. But think about it like this, like a TINS unit, you can physically see the TINS unit,
Right.
or a TINS unit or a STEM unit.
Sure.
They put the pads on you and you start twitching.
Sure.
I kind of like it personally, but you don't see the output of that machine. If you
Right.
pull that pad off and looked at it with the machine on, you can't see the output of that machine.
Right.
But yet it's affecting you. It's the same thing. We just figured out how to capture the output of that machine, and we did not capture a tins unit and put it in the shirt, by the way.
Sure.
But the output of the machine
Like
that would be crazy. The output of the machine that I built,
right.
We were able to capture that and put it into a shirt.
Right, and there's nothing that you have to recharge or battery or any type of power source at all.
No, that was part. I had a good. I kind of knew what I was gonna. I kind of knew. 2009, 2010. I kind of was like, okay, I know how to make this. I know how to do this. But then I was like, well, how do I know this part of it, but how do I get to the next step?
Sure.
And that's what took me like 5 years to figure out.
Sure. So correct me if I'm wrong or
go ahead,
off on this.
I will
correct you. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Joe Rogan, and just thought I'd throw that name out there because he was awesome, but I love him. Anyway, he had this theoretical physicist from Columbia, I believe, on his podcast a few months ago, and he started talking about quantum mechanics, and of course, I just perked up, and I was like, whoa, okay, is this a thing? Like, I thought it was just, stuff you hear on, Marvel movies or whatever. And it's like, so basically you shoot this laser at an atom, and when it hits the electrons of the atom, it excites them.
Right.
And then those electrons produce protons, which produce energy.
Yep.
Right? And that energy can be understood into multiple different types of applications.
Correct, yeah.
And then the application that you have found is the ability for the muscles to release and relax. Is that close enough explanation?
Yeah, that's a great explanation.
Okay.
And so the funny part is like when we developed this, the first thing I did is I went to a doctor. And I said, I found one that was very athletic and ran and stuff. So we had him test it for us. And we thought he would give us a very good point of view. And he was like, well, what you're saying that it can do, it's impossible. And I go, okay, cool. Keep that mind set up. And sure enough, he did a race and he wasn't sore and it was amazing.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And he was like, well, I'm not for sure if it was a shirt or me. I'm just more athletically built.
Sure.
And now I'm not sore anymore. And I'm like, okay, either way. So we've done a lot more tests since then. But what I didn't catch then was he's not a physicist.
Right.
I mean, I'm not either, but I was able to learn from physicists.
You kind of are. Okay, homemade physicist, okay.
But I'm not that smart.
I mean,
it's just the Lord that leads me, right? So
sure.
he knows how it all works, so
Sure.
he teaches me. Anyways, and so the doctor was looking at it from a biological point of view.
Sure.
How they're trained to do, how they should.
Absolutely.
So then when I talk to physicists, they don't understand the
body side of it.
The body side of it. And so I thought, okay, so they're not connecting.
They're not connecting, which you've connected.
We've connected that aspect of it. So now it's like, okay, now we're in the physicist world over here, and then we go through a whole bunch of other stuff, and then we end up in working with the body and having a reaction with the body.
Wow. I mean, it's truly incredible. I mean, whenever I started diving into this and attempting for my simple brain to grasp this, because I'm over here in business and I don't understand anything about the body or theoretical physics, and I'm just like, okay, well, this is way over my head. And I was just like, this sounds something that should be on the Nobel Prize. I'm just saying, but that's the thought process that came down through my simple brain, is like, this is truly something that's different than anything else on the market in the world today.
Yeah, but you talk to any scientist out there, they know that we don't know anything. There's so much more to learn. So I just discovered something that was already out there. I just figured out how to use it properly.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
And that's what any discovery is. And so I think this, maybe in 50, 100 years, people look back and go, oh yeah, that was like the beginning.
Right.
Look what we can do now.
Right.
And that's what I'm excited about.
It's truly incredible.
We can take it a whole different direction.
It's truly incredible. So I know we've been testing it quite a bit over the past few months. What are some of the effects that you've noticed wearing intelligent threads or intelligent products, or making products intelligent, because we've done that as well? what are some of the benefits that you've seen through our process and testing?
Well, I think because I'm a structural guy,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I noticed was the way that it helps support the structure. If we can take what pulls the structure out
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the right position, or if we can stop the pull on the structure and then allow the body to naturally go back and uncompensate and go
Right.
back to its correct anatomical position,
Right.
then the body's going to work better. It has to work better.
Right.
But then at the same time, I think once the structure straightens up, I think the meridians will open up.
Okay.
I think the fascia can let go.
Wow.
Because not too long ago we started talking about fascia.
Right.
Well, and they're discovering all kinds of interesting things about fascia. Well, I
Right.
think it helps release the tension in the fascia. So then you can, and I would say that because in my clinic I'm like release fascia really, really quick.
Right.
But it's not me; it's the intelligent threads myo-equilibration that's in there,
Right.
just making all the tension come out of the body. Then it just, I have people routinely tell me, I feel like my body's melting onto the table.
I think that's what our producer said as well, wasn't it, Christian? It's like, I feel like butter on this table once they put that threads on. Yeah, it's incredible.
And then I think it's gotta affect the body in a parasympathetic way as well.
Right.
And then we're doing a lot of like heart rate variability tests and different things. And
Right.
we have some other really cool tests coming down the pipeline that we're going to start, taking it to a chemistry level. We'll draw blood and do some stuff, and we're going to really dive into it. But initially, just the amount of soreness that people don't have. You were giving me a good story about wearing your whoop strap.
I know.
And
Well, it was pretty interesting. So I've been diving into any type of testing that I can do to my friends, which you're welcome, and myself, and saying what are the secondary, tertiary, quaternary benefits of wearing intelligent threads, short term, long term, at night, whatever you can possibly think of, right? So I think really the primary focus is it improves your body structure. It really is a body structure thing. It does. See, I threw that in there. You like that? Yeah. But secondarily, we've been finding things that are just like incredible, and really instances that we were not expecting at all.
right.
And I think my buddy Trey Steele, he's a coach at CrossFit 737, terrible sleeper, and he wore it one night. He comes back, and he wore it, and then I talked to him about a week later. And he goes, "Ron, man, this shirt changed my life." I'm like, okay, Trey can be a little over the top sometimes.
Right, of course.
And he said, "Man, it changed my life." Well, what happened? Because I haven't been able to sleep through the night in a decade, and I slept through the night completely. I was like, wow, that's amazing, man. He goes, but the next night I didn't. I was like, what do you mean the next night you didn't? He goes, well, my wife stole my shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, okay, buddy. So he's like, no, but truly, like, I've slept really, really well. And so I took that as okay, that's one person that it helped. And,
Right.
We've had actually a couple of people, say similar things that is head related. Like if you're up all night thinking, it's not going to make you stop thinking, right? But it's going to relieve some muscle.
Yeah, if you can't sleep because you're hurting, you're sore, your muscles are tense, then it should help.
Absolutely.
But if you're up thinking about everything that's wrong in the world and worrying about everything, or have a lot of stuff that you have to take care of, it's probably not going to help.
Yeah,
you.
it can't
It's not going to help you
the
sleep.
brain
There
off.
again, it's not a magic bullet, but it's amazing how many things the structure of the body
affects.
everything. I mean,
It's amazing.
It really is.
It really is. So I took it to another level, and I went a little crazy running this week. I was running with a 20-pound vest and, doing some military stuff on the side.
When's the last time you ran with a 20-pound vest?
This time last year.
Okay, so it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking back because I track all of my workouts, for the last couple of years. And I was noticing the last couple of months I was stinking busy.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I'm averaging like one workout this whole last quarter, like 1-2 workouts a week. It's like, man, I need to really step this up. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my own little test here.
There you go.
So I got my Whoop strap so I can track my recovery. I can track my effort, track my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been hitting the running trails that are in about 20 miles this week. That's a lot for a big guy. So I know some of you guys are like, I can run that in a couple of days. That was nothing. I get it. I'm 250 pounds, so that's a little bit much for a big boy. So one of my generals in the military was like, "Hey, we're gonna do 100-mile May." I was like, "We're doing what?" It's like, "Man, 100 miles from me is that's a lot, sir."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Suck it up, Buttercup." I'm like, "Okay." So I started running, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make this fun. I got Murph coming up. Murph is another CrossFit thing where you do it with a 20-pound vest. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to start out and run a 5K with my 20-pound vest. Did that. Went to CrossFit with Christian, and, we did another mile for time and, some other exercises. And I was like, man, I'm toast. And I usually wear my shirt or have it around me at night so I can get the ancillary benefits of it, but I forgot it that day.
Right.
And I'd been averaging about 70 to 80% recovery. And this is after not working out, quite, very often in the last few weeks. And I was sitting 80s, 70s, 80s, and went down to 26. And I was like,
because you didn't wear, you didn't sleep in your shirt.
I left my shirt in my truck on accident. Yeah. And by the time I thought about it, I was like, I don't want to go get it. I don't want to wake everybody up in the house. And, so I just left it. And I was like, wow, 26%. So I was like, okay, you definitely need to wear that tomorrow. Yeah. But I was like, okay, maybe it's not the shirt. Right. So
it could be, yeah.
I did a 4 mile that day at 26% recovery and crushed it. And I was like, I pushed it and, I was good. I went home. Actually, I had a glass of bourbon as well. Usually when I have something to drink, then your recovery just, falls off.
Tanks, yeah.
Yeah, it tanks. Made sure I wore my shirt. Had about 5.5 hours of sleep. So not even a really good night's sleep. I sleep really well with the shirt. But that's the next iteration of this story. But I woke up with 90% recovery.
Wow.
Well, and usually it's like if you're not hitting your sleep with the whoop strap, it's not going to give you any good recovery. Right? But my sleep with the shirt has increased my REM and my deep sleep. So I'm hitting all of that at the very beginning of my sleep. So I'm popping 4 or 5 hours of deep sleep at the very beginning.
Wow.
So I don't have to sleep as long.
That's great.
So it's been completely incredible. But again, I'm one source.
Right.
This is, just my experience. So It's definitely not a test.
Yeah, it's not scientific.
But but for me, it's working amazing.
Right.
But the really big thing is I'm not sore today.
Right.
And that's the one that's like, I should be crawling after 20 miles.
Yeah. 250
pounds, weight vest. Like I should be like walking in there like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. Right. But I'm not.
Right.
And I'm a little sore, but I can go out and run right now and not even work a big deal. And, and I think the most miles I've run all year has been 8 miles in 1 week. And that was in like the first week of the year because everybody's like, I want to get off to a good start.
Yes.
Right?
January.
So from that perspective, it's just mind blowing. Right.
I have a runner, Olympic runner, and she buys a shirt from me.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls me up, she goes, Brian, I feel like I'm cheating. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I go burn my legs out, and then I put your shirt on, the intelligent threads with my equilibration in it. And then my soreness goes away. She goes, I don't really feel like I'm working out, but though I'm getting better.
Right.
She goes, this is like cheating. And I go, well, it's not cheating.
Right.
Because there's no chemicals involved.
Right.
But yes, you're not cheating, but that's what it's supposed to do.
Right.
That's what we designed it for. She goes, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and you were telling me yesterday, and you're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. You've been working out with the shirt in, sleeping with it at night, and you're having this much recovery. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean no? I was like, well, I'm sleeping with it at night, but it's made out of polyester, and I can't throw that under a 20-pound vest in 85-degree heat and not die.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm fat. So that's just the way it goes. And you're like, oh, well, you're not even working out with it?
Yeah.
And that hit my mind. I'm like, no, I'm not even working out with it, and it's giving me this much.
Wait till you do that.
I know.
That's gonna be exciting.
That's the next level, really, is how far can I push my body with it on?
Right.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think another test we did. We had a professional soccer team that we sponsored, and we outfitted them with the MYO-E technology.
Mm-hmm.
Every player wore it every game the entire season, and so I flew out there to introduce the team to it.
Right.
And I was going to physically check each player just to see where they were at, so I could say, okay, this guy was already this way or that way.
Right.
And so we could have a better testing
Sure.
of that. Well, half the team shows up, and it turned out to be a blessing. So I look at half the team, and there was a bunch of stuff that was wrong structurally,
Right.
and there's a deviation in the knee that just about everybody has. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they all had that as well. In fact, in the last 3 years, I've only had 4 people.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
I only have 4 people that their knee wasn't deviated.
Wow.
It's insane how many people's knees are out of place. Or slight deviation, but
Sure.
it plays a huge role in the body. Well, so halfway through the season, I could fly back out there, and I'm going, okay, now let's go see what's going on. And I talked to the head trainer and some other people, and the half the team that I didn't see says, "Oh, we want you to look at us." I said, "Okay, yeah, no problem. Come on." So I looked at them, and there wasn't one deviation in the knee. All the knees were straight, and I couldn't figure that out. I was going, why are all these? That's a statistically impossibility from what I see.
Sure.
I'm thinking, so the half the team that was out, I see the first time, and the other half that wasn't out, I happened not to see. Like,
Right.
come on, what's the chances?
Right.
22. I think it was about 11 players or so. I looked at the second time.
Right.
22 knees in place.
Yeah.
That's it's just not heard of. And so I started thinking about it. Well, because the myoequilibration releases the muscles that hold the structure in place. Once that structure releases, as the players moved around and kicked,
they would set themselves.
Their bones would go right back in the right position. And so as they kicked the ball and as they moved around, and then so at the end of the season we talked to the trainer. We said, okay, what was your injury rate? He started going, we didn't have one soft tissue injury the entire season.
Not one.
Now, we're not saying it's going to stop all soft tissue injuries. We would never say that.
But
that's pretty interesting.
I mean, again, going back to percentages, to decrease a professional sports team by 10%, 20% would be
huge.
Save millions for the owners, right?
Oh, yeah.
Millions.
I would think.
Yeah. And to have...
Not to mention he helped the players, individual players. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right? So they don't have any career-ending injuries or it's like,
exactly.
Hey, this is the last time my knee's going out and I'm done, right?
Right.
But to go through that and not have any is insane.
Yeah, I couldn't. It was pretty staggering to us because we thought we would see a change.
Sure.
We didn't know how big.
But that's a big one.
Of course, we're going to replicate with another team, and then COVID hit, and then sports were shut down for a while. So we're still on that hunt, but now we have to get back on the saddle and figure that out.
And we're always you and I are always doing a lot of testing.
That's the key.
Just because we always want to be running at least one test at each time and continuing along these testing lines as long as we possibly can, because every time we test, we find something new and crazy that we didn't expect before, like the posture test that we did.
Oh yeah. So
one of our good chiropractic buddies has this app. It's what's the name of the app? Do you remember?
It's a posture app.
It's like Posture Perfect or Posture App or anything. But anyway,
we could plug them at the end.
Yeah. So we actually took pictures of people as they were just finishing their workouts at our CrossFit gym. And you can point to the different points on the body, and the app will give you the structural alignment down to a couple of millimeters, right? So really crazy accurate. And then we put the shirt on them. And by the time I could input all the data, which was about roughly 2 minutes, and do them again with just the shirt, right?
Yeah, so we took pictures of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ron figured out the data points. I had them put a shirt on, and then we put them up against the wall.
Right. Took another picture of them. With the same data points. And the results were incredible. Yeah. Like, I started going through these. I'm like, there's no way this can be right. I must be using this app wrong. Yeah. Like, I'm not that.
And then we showed the chiropractor, and he was like,
yeah, that's insane.
That's better.
Absolutely insane. It's like if I worked on somebody for 6 months and had these types of results, then I'd be one of the best chiropractors in the world. 2 minutes with this shirt. Yeah. And I think the biggest data point was it was a 20% less head weight.
Reduction of head weight.
So you're moving, you see it on the video, your head's moving forward. And then within 2 minutes is that little correction, and it's structural. And you could see in a lot of our takes, you could see even the striations in people's shirts where their hips were off, corrected within 2 minutes.
Let me ask the chiropractor, how about if you just didn't touch them? He was like, well, if you don't touch them.
Yeah, if you don't touch them, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. But, man, I tell you what, this is truly some amazing technology. And I know it's about time for us to cut off on this episode. Quick. And it was, I could still just keep talking about it because
there's so much more we should say.
Oh, I totally agree. So I think we'll end it there. But, man, just phenomenal. Love it. Great stories. Intelligent threads. It's the new era. It's a structural thing. Sponsored by, well, we don't have any sponsors at this point, so it seems oddly self-serving to sponsor ourselves. But, oh well. Intelligent threads, powered by MYO-E technology. The first athletic wear able to release and relax muscles with no wires or external power sources. The technology in the material helps your muscular and skeletal structure reset by releasing the tight muscles in your body. Yes, real muscle release in this new wearable technology. Now, why aren't you wearing one? Visit Intelligent Threads on Facebook, Instagram, our website, www.intelligentthreads.com, and see us on our YouTube channel. It's a structural thing. Activating your body to its full potential. The future of preventative and recovery wear is here. Be activated.